Okay, so we're on our way to do Professor Birch's little side quest, and this recording actually demonstrates one of my greatest pet peeves with the Pokemon series as a whole. You don't get any Pokeballs before you finish the side quest. Now, let's go back in time a little to the first game, because the side quest thing, this has been in Pokemon since the very first game. The thing with the side quest in the first game, though, was that there it had a clear purpose. In the first game, the side quest was set so you can remember the town that it was set in. The thing with that town in particular was that the town is the town of the 8th gym. So, you would go there, but you wouldn't be able to battle there yet. And in order to make it so you kind of remember the town, so the town kind of stands out between all the other towns, because it's really a small, insignificant town otherwise. To make it so it stands out, they made you visit it multiple times. They made you visit it to get Oak's parcel, which you then go to bring back to Oak, and then you come back to the town again, obviously, because you need to pass there. But most people would likely go to the left of the town, where they would battle Gary and go to the Pokemon League, and then come back to the town again. Right there you've already visited the town 3 times, which is mandatorily more than anything else you'll visit in the game. You'll probably visit Pallet Town maybe 3 times. Yeah, Pallet Town you might visit 3 times, but other than that, this is the only one where the 3 times are mandatory. Then you also have Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, where even though that side quest didn't serve any purpose in terms of gameplay, it did serve a purpose in terms of story, because it kind of built up on the character of your rival. The rival was someone you saw staring in front of the window by the laboratory. And in order to kind of have some sense of progression of time, you went away, you came back, and then when you came back, the rival that you saw before, he would have stolen one of the Pokemon that was in the laboratory. The thing with the rivals in this game, however, is that they are very insignificant. The thing is, they're there just to be a rival. They don't actually do anything in the grand scheme of things. They tend to show up and then disappear again just as easily without impacting anything that's going on. Now, obviously, I don't mind that much, but the thing is that the game is kind of trying to pass it off as something I should care about, which annoys me because it is restraining me from doing what I really want to do, and that is beginning with the game as soon as possible. I wouldn't mind it if they did this kind of midway through the game. That would also make the rival characters a little more significant, in my opinion, if they didn't just appear at the beginning and near the end of the game. And this kind of goes for every Pokemon game after this as well, with maybe the exception of Pokemon Black and White. Now, what bothers me about the side quest, and this also goes for Gold and Silver by the way, is that it locks you out of getting Pokeballs before you finish it. And the thing about that is, ever since Gold and Silver, there has been the addition of shiny Pokemon, which are very rare Pokemon, and you'll be hard-pressed to find it. It's like a 1 in 10,000 chance to even encounter them, and then you also need to hope that you'll be able to catch it. And with things like this, where you're, for arbitrarily set reasons, restricted out of catching these Pokemon, it's very, very stupid, for lack of a better word. The thing is that, by all means, I should be able to catch it at this point. There is no reason for me not to be able to catch it at this point. Besides maybe that I kind of encountered it before I even reached the store, but that's besides the point. They could have put a Pokeball in my item box just like they put a potion in there. It's really annoying when something rare like this shows up, and even though it's only for bragging rights, because everyone knows that shiny Pokemon are pretty much just bragging rights. They're not really that special. But even though it's only bragging rights, when something like this happens, it's shiny Pokemon are a kind of a trophy, something that you catch and you can be proud of, and you can show off to your friends, and it's great to have a shiny Pokemon. and it's rarely ever going to happen for most people. I'm willing to bet that most people don't even know what a shiny Pokemon is because they never encountered any. So you don't want to restrict people out of getting something that you put in the game as a means of getting people to actually be more involved in the game. Because that's what the shiny Pokemon are, basically. The shiny Pokemon are there for people who somehow managed to catch all Pokemon to go back and hunt for the shiny versions of each Pokemon. At least I believe that's what they are. I could be wrong about that. It seems that in my rambling I have kind of skipped over the rival battle with May. Not that that is necessarily a bad thing, because there wasn't really anything going on there. The rival battle in the first game, it was a tutorial thing, and that's kind of what they were going for here, is teach you how to battle. Because we don't have any attacks that are super effective yet, and because the rival didn't have any of those attacks yet, and generally just because this battle is set so late in the story, it doesn't serve the tutorial purpose at all anymore. Another thing I kind of failed to acknowledge was the acquiring of the running shoes, which are an addition in the third generation of Pokemon that stayed with the Pokemon ever since. The weird thing about them is, considering that you'll probably always use them anyway, there is no reason for them to be mapped like to a button or not be the default running speed. I don't think there's any instance in which you should not run at all. There might be in this game, maybe, actually, now that I think about it. But I think, save for this game, there is no instance in which running shoes are should not be the default running speed. And now, before I actually skip over this too, now that we've reached the third route of the game, we've actually begun playing the game. And as such, we will be running into wild Pokemon, obviously, and also trainer battles. Now, how I'm going to handle the editing of the wild Pokemon and trainer battles is, for the trainer battles, firstly, I'll be editing out all the trainer battles that are not mandatory. So, trainers are always positioned in a certain way. And for some trainers, you can kind of avoid battling with them. Those trainers I'll generally be cutting out. Not in this route, because in this specific route there wasn't much going on anyway, so I decided to leave the trainer battles in, but the routes afterwards I will be editing the trainer battles out. As for wild battles, I will only be showing two types of wild battles. The wild battle, well, maybe three types actually. I will be showing the wild battles in which I catch new Pokemon. I will be showing the wild battles in which I encounter a Pokemon for the first time. And I will be showing wild battles that generally are just more interesting than the rest. Everything else I will be cutting out, mainly for time reasons and because I can't talk to fill up that much time. I'm not that great at this. Besides, who would want to see me battling 15 Puchhyenas? Sorry, still getting used to that pronunciation. Who would want to see me battling 15 of those in a row anyway? Yeah, the thing is, because I'm trying to catch every Pokemon that is available in the game, I will be trying to catch them generally as soon as I can. So I'll spend a lot of time in each route trying to catching everything that's available there. And obviously that will cause me to run into Pokemon multiple times. This route already being a very tedious one, because I spent literally hours trying to catch a Ralts. And I actually encountered it quite often, but I generally either accidentally knocked it out, or I just had bad luck with Pokeballs. Either way, I didn't want to leave those in, because, again, that would be like, I think it was around 3 hours that worth of running around and battling Pokemon that I cut out with that. The thing is that I don't even want to show me running around in the grass, because that's really just a waste of time. So all of that I'm just going to edit out. I might make some notes here and there of how much time I actually did edit out, so just so people get a clear idea. Though I don't think that's really necessary, because if you look in the save file thing, you can see how long I spent in the game. you don't really need to see how much time I spent grinding. You can calculate that if you're really interested. Looking back on things, I kind of wish I had decided to not leave those battles in with the trainers, because actually it kind of takes more time than it needed to. I thought what would happen would be that I would have too little battles and that it would be just me walking around for most of the part, so that's why I decided to leave them in. But when it comes down to it, a 20-minute part is kind of a lot. And I don't think people really mind that much. Something that I might do at the end of this all is kind of tally up what my male to female Pokemon ratio is, because what tends to happen with me a lot in my games is, actually it's already kind of starting to happen right now, is any Pokemon I catch in the wild, because I generally just go for the first Pokemon I encounter every time, just to save myself effort, and then I get a Ditto whenever I need to breed. But any Pokemon I catch in the wild tends to be more of the female type, and you're already seeing this right here with Danny and Revy, which, thank God, are gender-neutral names, that they are both female. And obviously the reason John isn't female is because it's the starter Pokemon. The gender is set. I think it's set depending on what gender your character is, so if you desperately want a female starter Pokemon, I'm not sure why that would matter at all. Well, maybe if you plan on trading with some friends it would matter, but otherwise it wouldn't really. Anyway, if you desperately want a female gendered starter, you should get the female character. Something I kind of considered doing in this Let's Play after these first few parts where it's like information overload, or more information dump, some might actually say, is to read the Pokédex entries of each Pokémon, because that's what we're doing this for. We're doing this to fill the Pokédex, so I was considering reading the entries for each Pokémon just because there's some interesting stuff in there actually. And I would kind of read them as we either catch or evolve Pokemon, or as they just show up. I'm not sure which one yet. I'm still kind of thinking over how to do this. As soon as stuff starts to calm down in the story a bit, because that's going to happen at some point, then I might do that. For now though, I think we're still good. I said before that stat changing attacks, that they are not really significant at this point in the game. I still stand by that kind of, but I will admit that they are very annoying when the computer decides to use it against you. The thing is, what tends to happen with me a lot is that if they use it more than 2-3 times, some of those attack or defense reducing moves, I either switch out or I use a move that counters that, and then they just do it all over again. And they do end up wasting turns, but they also end up dragging the fight out more than it needs to. It can get annoying at times. Ah! Berries! Another new edition of the 3rd generation of Pokemon. Well, it's not a completely new edition, mind you. There were berries in Pokemon Gold and Silver, but the way they work has been completely changed in Generation 3. In Gold and Silver, you would occasionally find berry trees, and those berry trees would produce a berry a day, and that would be, I believe, random or preset. The thing is, you yourself had no influence on that, so if you wanted a certain type of berry, you needed to either hope for the right berry or go to a certain type of tree. Now, how it has been changed in Generation 3 is that you yourself plant berries, so when you get a berry, you always get multiple, just so you can just so you have a net gain in berries, and you can plant one of them, or both if you so desire, to get more berries. And how this eventually works out is you will stack up on berries and you will use them in a certain minigame we'll encounter later, or you'll use them as hold items. Because the hold item system, I believe, has been changed since Gold and Silver. Correct me if I'm wrong. Where Pokemon now automatically use berries. They don't use other hold items automatically unless that's specifically stated, but the berries they use automatically and when they get into certain preset conditions. Like, if they are burned, they will eat an anti-burn berry. If their health drops low, they will eat an or a healing berry, and there are some anti-super effective move berries. Those kind of things they would eat automatically. Stuff like potions, however, you still have to feed to them manually. Okay, this trainer here should be the last battle, after which I am heading for the Pokemon Center, going to talk around with the townsfolk there for a while. And I actually, while I was recording, I forgot to get a certain item that is in this area. Or either that or I got it off screen, I forgot what I did. The thing is, there's like a potion or something hidden somewhere around here. And you can get that. I didn't show it off, didn't think it was worth editing in. But it's there, now you know it's there, you can get it if you want it. This battle is another good example of how stuff just drags on if they use those stat reducing moves. It should have been over by now. Nothing you can do about it really. At least not in this point in the game. There are some items you can use later on. But generally later on in the game you'll get to power levels where it's just the first one to hit wins. Which is kind of disappointing really, but I will get into that more when a certain other kind of mini-game pops up in this game, because this game introduced a lot of new stuff actually, and a lot of it I liked, though I can kind of see how most would consider them hit or miss kind of things. You know, with all the trainer battles we actually got to see quite a lot of Pokemon that we're not going to catch for a while. It's weird that they didn't make them available at this point. We have like, I think, 4 or 5 different available Pokemon. Like 4 not counting the starter at this point. And it's for a game boasting over 300 and something Pokemon. I'm not sure how many of those are actually in-game available yet. I'll do the research later. But for a game that boasts that many Pokemon, I think it's weird to have that little available in the beginning, because the beginning is where you really want to make your team anyway. Afterwards you'll have kind of you'll tend to have trouble readjusting your team just because you already get used to using the Pokemon you're using, obviously. And to start over with something else is kind of off-putting. At least to me it is. I might be a confounding outlier. Again, and I know I kind of brought this up before, is that the fact that there is so little move variety at this stage in the game kind of makes this dull, and I really regret leaving these battles in. If I would do it over, I would edit these out, probably. But, yeah. Anyway, with this last battle out of the way, we're kind of done for this part. All that's left for me to do is to go to the Pokemon Center to restore my health, and afterwards I will save. Then in the next part, we'll go to see what's kind of going on in this town. What's the deal with this town? Because this town is pretty interesting in terms of how the Pokemon formula usually operates. This is, again, something a little different from how we usually do things. So, see you next time.